The notification sound on my phone used to make my stomach tighten. It was a sharp, high-pitched ding. It felt like a needle poking my skin every time it rang. It meant my sister needed money, or my brother wanted to criticize my life choices. Yesterday, I made the noise stop. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I simply pressed one button. Block. My name is Martha. I am 68 years old, and I finally realized that sharing DNA is not a license to abuse me. We are told that family is everything. We are told that cutting off a sibling is a sin. But nobody tells you what to do when your family is the reason you wake up with a heavy chest every morning. I sat in my garden this morning with a cup of hot coffee. The steam warmed my face. The birds were singing. And for the first time in 40 years, I didn't worry about what my brother would say about it. If your phone rings and you feel a knot of fear in your gut, if you dread the holidays, you need to listen to this. I am going to tell you why treating my siblings like strangers was the only way to save my life. You don't cut off your own arm because of a paper cut. You do it because the infection is killing you. For me, the infection wasn't one big fight. It was a slow, dripping poison. It was the Sunday dinners. The air in my dining room always felt heavy, like the sky before a thunderstorm. My brother David would sit at the head of my table. He would run his finger over my tablecloth and just sniff. It was a small sound, but that sniff made me feel 2 feet tall. "Still buying the cheap fabric, Martha?" he would ask. My sister would smile. It wasn't a warm smile. It was a thin, cold stretching of her lips. She would ask how I was managing alone, but her eyes were scanning the room, looking for dust, looking for failure. I would try to eat my roast chicken, but it tasted like dry cardboard in my mouth. My chest would tighten right behind the breastbone. I am 68 years old. I have survived a divorce, a recession, and cancer. But in that room, under their stare, I was a clumsy 12-year-old girl again. I tried to fix it. I cooked better meals. I lent the money I needed for myself. I thought if I just loved them harder, they would finally respect me. But here is the sick part that kept me trapped for years, and it might be trapping you too. The sick truth was this: they liked me small. My struggles made them feel big. It finally hit me on a rainy Tuesday. I was down with the flu. My bones felt like old brittle glass. My head was pounding like a drum. I was scared. I called my sister, Brenda. I didn't ask for money. I didn't ask for a ride. I just wanted to hear a kind voice. I wanted to hear that I wasn't invisible. I heard her sigh through the phone. It was a loud, impatient exhale that rattled against my ear. "Martha," she snapped, "I have a hair appointment in 20 minutes. Why do you always have to be such a burden? Call a doctor." Click. The line went dead. I lay there in the dim light of my bedroom. The silence in the house didn't feel empty anymore. It felt honest. I looked at the ceiling fan spinning round and round. For the first time, I didn't see my big sister who I needed to impress. I saw a bully. I realized that my loneliness wasn't because I was alone. It was because I was chasing people who didn't care if I lived or died. That afternoon, the fever broke, and so did my loyalty. But seeing the truth is one thing. Actually cutting the cord is dangerous. And what I did next shocked everyone, even me. I didn't send a long, angry letter. I didn't scream. Explaining yourself to people who don't listen is like screaming underwater. You just drown. So I enacted rule number 1, the silent exit. I sat at my kitchen table. The wood felt cool under my elbows. I opened my phone settings. I found David's name, then Brenda's. My heart was thumping so hard I could feel it in my throat. I pressed block. The screen asked, "Are you sure?" I whispered, "Yes." I put the phone down face first on the table. The room was deadly quiet. I expected the sky to fall. I expected the police to knock on my door. For the first few days, the guilt was heavy. It felt like I was carrying a backpack full of wet sand. I would look at the dark phone screen and feel a panic rise in my chest. I kept thinking, what if they need me? What if I am a bad person? This is the withdrawal phase. It is physical. My hands actually shook because I wasn't getting my daily dose of their drama. But then Sunday came around. Usually Sunday is the day my stomach hurts. But this Sunday, the phone stayed dark. The air in the house stayed light. I looked at the clock. It was 1 p.m. Usually, I would be being insulted by David right now. Instead, and I was eating a sandwich in peace, but be warned, when you stop playing their game, they don't just let you walk away. This is where it gets ugly. The silence in my house was strange at first. It hummed in my ears. The evenings felt very long. The chair opposite me at the table was empty. It is easy to confuse peace with loneliness. They feel the same at first. But then I started to notice things. My blood pressure went down. The tight knot in my shoulders loosened up. I could taste my food again. I forced myself to go to the local library. I joined a gardening club. My hands were covered in dirt, and the sun was hot on my neck. I met a woman named Sarah. She didn't know my history. She didn't know I was the mess-up sister. She just saw Martha. When I dropped my trowel, she didn't roll her eyes. She picked it up and smiled, a real smile. It reached her eyes. This is rule number 3. You choose your family. I realized that a stranger can show you more love in 5 minutes than your own blood showed you in 50 years. I stopped chasing people who were running away from me. I started walking toward people who wanted to be near me. I replaced the drama with soil and books and coffee with Sarah. But there is one question that still haunts people. It is the thing that keeps seniors trapped in abusive families until the very end. People ask me, "Martha, aren't you afraid of dying alone?" The answer might surprise you. Here is the truth about dying alone. I would rather take my last breath in a quiet room filled with peace than in a crowded room filled with people checking their watches or waiting for me to leave. Being alone is physical. Being lonely is spiritual. When I was with my siblings, I was surrounded by noise, but I was freezing cold inside. Now the house is quiet, but I feel warm. I don't hate David and Brenda. Hate is too heavy to carry. I just wish them well, from very far away, like you wish a stranger well on the street. I looked in the mirror today. The frown lines between my eyebrows are fading. The woman staring back at me looks like she finally belongs to herself. If you are holding on to a rope that burns your hands just to stay connected to your history, please let go. The burn is not worth it. You are not a bad person for choosing your sanity. You are a survivor. If this story made your heart beat a little faster, then you are one of us. Click that subscribe button, not for me, but so we can build a family of friends who actually chose each other. Remember this, your peace is too expensive. Do not put it on sale, not even for your own blood. I am Martha, and I am finally free.